Hey gems, welcome in. This is the VTuber Voices podcast, and I'm your host Syafire, where we learn about what it's like to be virtual. What is it like to be a VTuber and to pursue content creation as an individual? In this episode, we will be continuing our interview with KitsuneKatie, and we'll be talking about some thoughts on what VTuber debuts are like or how they could go, how to keep conversations going when you're live streaming with your chat so you don't have any of those weird moments or pauses, how to come up with ideas for creating a VTuber, and the biggest mistakes that you can make as a new content creator as well as an experienced content creator. Let's go! Tall Spirit says, I have one question. Any advice on when you debut? Did you do a debut, Katie?
Yeah.
You did?
I did.
How did it go?
So like for my first VTuber debut, I was like kind of scared for it. So
Yeah.
It was very like kind of under the radar, kind of like, oh, by the way, I'm a VTuber now.
Yeah.
It was just like the day before, I think I was like, I'm doing a VTuber debut tomorrow, and we were just like, cool. So I kind of just did that. I did, and I know I probably like shouldn't do this, but I kind of did a PowerPoint. I was like explaining.
But you did a PowerPoint? Yeah. Let's go! Oh, yo, school coming in at clutch right here. We learned how to make PowerPoints and now we're using them to debut. Yes.
It wasn't like a standard PowerPoint with like, you know, just white and then like blank normal text, you know, but I tried to spice it up a bit, but I basically just described like like my lore, my goals in the future, basically just like introducing myself to everyone. And then I had a second re-debut, which I spent a little bit more time like preparing for. I basically, like a little bit before, I sent out like an announcement so people know. I think that's important. When you re-debut, I think it's important to let people know in advance. So like you're not kind of just last minute like, by the way, yeah, I'm a VTuber tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm a VTuber tomorrow. Just right now, tell them.
Yeah. Yeah. So that would be like my best advice. And honestly, if you want to go like full character, I say go for it and just start off strong in your debut.
Yeah.
And people will follow. But also if you are really nervous and kind of shy, like that's totally cool too. It comes with time. Being comfortable on camera, on streaming, like with your VTuber model, or if you just have a cam, it takes time to be comfortable in front of an audience.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Absolutely preach. And yeah, so many people need to hear that because lots of people in our audience, again, are, you know, nervous about starting and such. So I'm glad you put that out there because, you know, we all start with a little bit of that, like, I don't know how to act in front of an audience and all that. And going back to the debut thing too, if you decide later you do want to be in character, even though you weren't before, that's an example of when you could do a re-debut as well.
Yeah, and like the anime dude said in the chat, he said I'm still not comfortable in front of an audience. Yesterday I streamed and I was just all over myself with words. I could not form proper English. Like, I'm still not comfortable, but you get a little bit more used to it. I think that's a better thing to say.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. It's actually, I'm glad you said that because I've had days too where I'm like, have I done this before? Like, I'm just trying to figure out why I can't talk or like I can't respond to chat as well as I feel like I usually do. And usually it's in your head. Usually you're just like all built up in your head and it's not as bad as you think. So I'm glad you said that because I have those days too. And I feel it's so easy to get down on yourself and put yourself down for feeling like you're taking steps backwards. But again, that happens to everybody, like Katie said.
Yes. That happens to like literally every content creator that you can possibly think of. I guarantee, like no one's perfect. No one's perfect.
Yeah, I'm perfect. What are you talking about? No, I'm just kidding. No, oh my gosh, breaking out. Yo, that's so ironic because Hannah Montana is literally like being a VTuber. You're like, I'm a VTuber, but I'm also a real person. But I'm also a VTuber. But I'm right?
It's like I have
the best of both worlds.
VTuber.
Yeah, shh. Right. Exactly. Dark Arc says, how do you do to always have something? Oh, how do you always have something to talk about? No, it's okay, Dark, that English is not your first language. No worries at all. How do you converse? Do you have it?
Yeah.
I gotta go. Conversation? No, I gotta go.
like, ah. This is a hard question. Not a hard question, but this is something I like super struggle with. I'm still trying to like work out because I don't do a lot of just chatting streams for this exact reason, because I'm scared that I won't have a lot to say. But I think like generally if you could talk, it kind of just like conversations like add on to each other, right? Like you could kind of just start talking about like something that you like feel about, like that you're passionate about. Like let's say like for example, oh, today I just bought Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and it's like
yes, Ori.
I had a really hard time like beating this part in the game. Does anybody else like really like this game? You guys know what I'm talking about? Like it could just go from something simple as like what you're passionate about.
Yeah.
And once again, I'm still having issues with this.
Yeah.
So I'm trying my best to figure it out.
Can I chime on to the end of that? No, it's okay.
Yeah.
So for example too, if you do something like bring up Ori and you ask that question and you're like, oh, but I don't have a lot of viewers, what if they don't answer? So a good tactic that I learned, if you bring something up like Katie said, where you're like, oh, Ori and the Blind Forest, how do you guys feel about that game? And then you answer your own question so it doesn't make it awkward if other people don't answer. So you ask the question and then you answer your own question and then you kind of trail off naturally. So if somebody doesn't answer it or your chat's kind of quiet, it's okay.
Exactly, yeah. I think that's the way to go about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And another tactic that I like to, I had brought this up the other day on a stream, when people bring stuff up in your chat, you could say, when they say something, think, oh, what does this remind me of? Does this remind me of a certain memory or a certain experience or a certain thing? And that's a really good way to keep a conversation going.
Yeah, I think, yeah. I definitely agree. I think that's, that is definitely the way to go.
Yeah. Absolutely. Star says, KitsuneKatie, when you mentioned being a butterfly, you could give your avatar wings and become the first Kitsune butterfly hybrid goddess.
Idea. Oh my gosh. Maybe I'll re-debut with a 2D model and I'll have butterfly wings. Who knows?
There you go. Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Ty says, do you ever get the sudden urge to just completely change your design? Because same. Yes, dude, yes. All the time. You're like...
Yeah, I would say that too. Like, literally all the time.
Yeah. Oh my god, I relate to that so hard. Yeah. But you have people too, like Iron Mouse, who is like has her main character, but she has a lot of different versions of her design.
Yeah, exactly. She has her like true demonic form.
Yeah.
Like who she like just debuted. And I'm like, oh, this is like, she's so inspiring. There's so many people who are inspiring in this community. So
yeah, I agree. And I think it's good to try and be a leader and try to be innovative and be inspiring, because the more inspiring we all are, the more we raise the bar for everybody, and the better creativity in our content and everything can get. And as long as we're having open conversations like these as well, it's just gonna help everybody, mental health and with their content.
Yes. I definitely agree 1001%.
Yeah, absolutely. And Geo fixed their question. They said, so they're asking for someone like them who's really at the beginning of the creative process and is pretty scared and has no ideas about being a VTuber. You can answer first if you want. I'll add on.
Okay. So about being a VTuber, I'd say if you watch a lot of VTubing, think about what you really like in terms of what you watch. So if you are really inspired by like 𝐒𝐿𝐵, or you really like Artemis of the Blue or something like that, you really like their aesthetic, you like how they I don't know, you hold themselves on stream and stuff like that, I'd say take that inspiration and then formulate what and who you want to be.
Yeah. Lonesome Poet says, I just got here a short time ago. I don't know if this was asked already, but what do you feel the biggest mistake someone new to content creation can make? Ooh, that's a good question. Really good Whoa, yeah, that's a good one.
You want to start?
Sure.
I need some time to think about this.
Yeah.
If you want me to start, then I think I could probably come up with something.
I'll answer it. I got you. Oh man. Okay, the biggest mistake that someone can make when it comes to content creation. I think there's a lot of mistakes you can make, to be honest, and that's okay. Well, first off, I want to preface this with saying, don't be afraid to make mistakes because you are so naturally gonna fail at so many things. But if we're talking about like really bad things, I would say probably the things that people, I don't like to use this word, and but I'll say it. What people get quote unquote canceled for saying specific things, that I think that can be a mistake. However, like those are some of the biggest mistakes you can make because they can put your reputation on the line. But I would say I also think that we should be more forgiving to people who run into issues or say something they might not have meant, right? And it depends on the situation. But I'd say that's probably, though, for more experienced. For newer content creators, the biggest mistake you can make is wanting to be a content creator, but not doing anything and just continuing to like build these ideas in your head and just never make anything because it's so easy to get stuck in that trap.
Suffering from analysis paralysis where you feel like nothing will ever be good enough, so you don't upload, you don't post, you don't, because I suffered from that, I think, for a while. And I'm just starting now to like get back into things. I think that is like one of the biggest mistakes like anyone can make is that like if you just stop creating content, because if you don't create content, then you can't improve and you can't make those mistakes that you can learn from. You have to be you have to know that you're going to make mistakes and you have to be comfortable with it. I think that is like a really big thing. Also, like I like what you said before too. I think you really have to think about what you're putting out on the internet sometimes. Because I know there is like drama here and there, and I'm not gonna talk about drama because I'm not like super big into it and stuff like that. I agree. We just don't want that. Right. But, if you get angry from something someone said, just don't right away just be like fire back or an angry response or something like that. Take some time, maybe write something down in a journal, write down how you feel, and then come back to it and then see how you feel then, and then reply with like a mature like response, so you're not like, and like I'm not gonna lie, like there have been like times where like I have gotten like my two friends got their channel deleted completely for no reason, with no and this is kind of scary, and I don't mean to like ward anyone off by this, but they got their channel deleted and they didn't get any strikes. It was mainly because there were a lot of fans who were wrongly mass flagging them. And so I was trying to support them any way I could, trying to like retweet some things, trying to spread the word like, hey guys, like come on, let's try to get their channel like you know, like up and running. And there were so many people who were just coming at me with like, they deserve to have their channel taken down. And I was like, excuse me, do you? Like I was very upset by it, but like you can't say things that like you'll regret in the future, you know what I mean? Like you have to take the time to like really think things through before you post something. Otherwise you can, and I don't like this word either, but you can risk the opportunity of like getting canceled. Yeah, absolutely. That was some really good advice to give too. And I think at the end of the day, as content creators, we all need to find the compassion in our hearts, to give people more chances, to be forgiving, to listen to the whole story and not jump to conclusions right away. Everybody needs to be more compassionate and more giving and loving, because if we do that, we can create a better space for everyone overall. And there you have it. So lots of new valuable information coming in with this conversation with KitsuneKatie. And honestly, I think the most important thing that you want to take away from this is that you don't want to delay starting because of your fears of failure. Just start and see where your content goes. Start and see what kinds of creativity that you can bring to the table. Remember, you can make adjustments and you can turn those dials and those knobs to get to where you would like to go, but you do have to start. You got to start first. So thank you so much for listening, Gems, and I'll see you on the next episode of the Virtual Voices podcast, continuing our interview with KitsuneKatie. Bye!